It's always a wonderful day in the studio when Hotone Audio send me a piece of gear to play around with, and today is an exceptionally cool day because they have sent me the awesome Ampero II Stage. Now, I first saw this in Music China a few months ago when I played there for Hotone Audio, and I was totally blown away by it. This is the latest iteration of their Ampero II platform, and it is basically their flagship, and boy, what a flagship this is. They have knocked it out of the park with this one. So in this video, I'm first going to give you an overview of the unit, and then I'm going to play you the full track, which I did with this unit. And I have a very special guest doing some solos on the track as well. I'm going to tell you about that in just a second. After the track, I've done a couple more clips as well, which you might want to check out. First, I did a clip of how the scenes work on this unit, which is pretty special, and I really love that about the Ampero II Stage. Then I've done a clip of the unit with one of my favorite drive pedals going straight into the input of the amp rather than in the loop of the amp. And right at the end, I actually show you how to create a preset and assign the foot switches to the scenes using just the touch screen on the Ampero II Stage as well. So stick around for all of that. I've also time coded the entire video so that you can flick back and forth to the parts that you want to see. And on the track that I've recorded with this unit, I have a very special guest, none other than Leon Todd. Leon is an amazing guitar player. If you guys don't know who he is, have you been kind of living under a rock or in outer space or something? Everybody on YouTube who's a guitar player should know about Leon Todd because he's an amazing musician, and he very kindly laid down some solos with his Ampero II Stage on the track, which I did. So you're going to see that at the end of the video, so stick around for that because his solos are absolutely phenomenal. And remember to head over to his channel and subscribe to it as well. Most of the people who watch this channel are probably already subscribed to his channel, but if you haven't subscribed, make sure you do because you will love what he does. So this one is bigger than my Ampero II Stomp, which is a smaller unit, and this is a bigger, heavier unit, has more inputs and outputs on the back here, which I will go through in a little while, and also has more foot switches. That's a really good thing because what they have done with this is optimized it for live playing, and it's so useful. So the Ampero II Stomp had 3 switches on it. This has 5 switches just on the bottom here, 1 switch over here, and also 2 switches over here. And they all have brilliant functionality. Obviously the 5-foot switches, which are right here at the bottom, they're to select your patches, or if you go into Stomp mode, you can select scenes now. Yes, they have built scenes into this unit, which is just phenomenal. Also, on the other side, it has 2 buttons to bank up and down. Now, this is really convenient because then you don't have to do tap dancing and try and press 2 buttons at a time to kind of bank up or bank down so that you can get to your next like sounds and stuff. It's just so much easier to basically go up or down, and then you're on the next bank of 5 sounds. And when you're playing a live set, it makes it so much easier to just bank up or down to a bank of like 5 patches. Then you can select the patch you want and then go into Stomp and select the scenes as well. So it's basically 5 times 5. Yeah, you've got 25 sounds basically in each bank of 5, which is kind of mind-blowing, to be honest. By the way, if you're enjoying this video, do me a huge favor. Hit the subscribe button and the bell notification. So much appreciated, helps my channel to grow and helps me to bring you more videos about gear like this. Alright, let's get back to the Ampero II Stage. Now, the Ampero II has always sounded phenomenal. Since I did the first demo of the Ampero II when they sent it to me, I was completely blown away by the tones, and this is no exception. This has the same sound engine in it. They have upgraded it a little bit because there are HD sounds in here as well. The one I can think of off the top of my head is the SLO HD, or the Solo HD as they call it, and there are a couple of effects which are HD sounds as well. And in total it has 87 amps in here, 68 cabs, over 100 effects. It's crazy, it does everything. You've got everything from your Fender cleans to your Marshall breakups to your Diesel super high gain tones, and every single type of conceivable effect: delays, reverbs, compression, drive pedals, you have modulation, everything. you can go to the website and check out the whole list of stuff, because I would be here all day telling you about everything that is in here. Now, when I did the track, this time, rather than going to my favorite tones, which are basically Marshall Plexis and Soldanos, I actually picked different amps. I picked a 5150 and then a Bogner Ecstasy, and that was really enjoyable. I really loved playing those amps, and I've put together a preset pack of the sounds which I used on the track, which you're going to hear at the end of the video as well. So if you'd like to check those out, head over to my web store and you can purchase them there, and they're all programmed with scenes, so you will get a ton of sounds from those presets. There is also a free preset which you can download, which I create at the end of this video, so stick around for that. And the links for both are in the description box below. Alrighty, what else is in here? There's a looper, there's a tuner, there's a drum machine, and there's even a global EQ. I like the global EQ because then you can kind of customize the tones to exactly how you want them, all of the tones. I usually roll off some of the high end just to kind of take off a little bit of the fizz of some of the amps. And you can do that right from the touch screen, which is super responsive. It's so quick to use. It always has been on the Ampero. Or you can do that from the desktop software as well on your Mac or PC. And now there is a Bluetooth app which connects your tablet or your phone to the unit, and you can do the modifications to all the settings via that as well. The app is actually excellent. I've been using it since I got the Ampero II Stage, and it's so convenient just to kind of have it on my phone, and I can tweak all of my amp and effects settings and get the exact sound that I want to. I can also upload my impulse responses either via the desktop software or the app as well, and I've actually been uploading via the app via my phone, which has been pretty phenomenal actually. It's a really smooth experience using the software and the app as well. Now, like I mentioned, this is Bluetooth enabled as well now, which is phenomenal, not just for the editing, but also you can stream audio to it. Now, this makes it really convenient to use live. I wish I had this when I played at Music China, to be honest, because then I could have streamed my audio to the unit, basically mixed it so that my sound was perfect with my patches and my scenes, and then basically I would have had a perfect mix going to the mixer and the PA. That's pretty mind-blowing. I've actually used that in the studio. I was just playing around with it earlier today, and I was sitting there for about half an hour just playing through it because it sounded so damn good. It is pretty spectacular how that works. And basically what I did was hooked up my phone to the Ampero II Stage Bluetooth audio, and then I was able to play my tracks right through the Ampero II and then jam along to my tracks right there and then. I loved it. It has a ton of IOs on the back of the unit. So here we have inputs for not just your guitar, but for the first time you have an input for a microphone as well. Now, the input for the microphone, you can actually turn on 48-volt phantom power via the settings as well. So if you want to use a condenser mic with this, you can, which is mind-blowing really. I really like that functionality on here. You then have a stereo loop where you can place your own effects as well, and you can place the stereo loop wherever you want in the effects chain. And basically, if you want to use a drive pedal in the loop, then you can place it before your amp, or if you want to use modulation, you can use it afterwards, etc, etc. You then have unbalanced and balanced outputs as well. Then you have an auxiliary in and a headphone out as well. And then you have a MIDI in, out and through via a 3.5mm connection as well if you want to control it via MIDI. The other way to control it via MIDI is to hook up an Ampero control to the unit via Bluetooth as well. And I've managed to hook up my Ampero control to the unit via Bluetooth very quickly, and then you just need to MIDI program it so that you can do whatever you need to with the Ampero control. And then you have a USB-C port right at the end here so that you can connect the unit up to your PC or your Mac. There are also two inputs for expression pedals. You can set one up as your volume and wah and the other one as switches as well. And in that regard, Hotone have released the latest version of their Hotone press, which goes along with the Stage. And today they have actually launched the Press Tuner as well, which is really phenomenal. I really like this unit because it has a tuner built in as well as expression, and it has a function on the top where you can actually see how much of the expression pedal is engaged via a screen. I love that because then you can see exactly where you have the expression set up, especially if you set it up as a volume into the input of the Ampero II Stage. Then you can set your levels exactly correctly and very, very quickly look down and know that the volume that you've set it to is the right volume for when you're playing. So check out the Hotone TUNERPress as well. Absolutely amazing unit. I am loving the tones. I'm loving the functionality of this. It is a really, really great unit. It's built really well. It's nice and heavy. There's metal enclosure and the switches all feel really good. They feel really nice. They're soft touch switches as well, so it's not clickety click all the time. Just really, really smooth operation with everything. And the encoder switches here as well. They're really, really convenient to use and they feel really great as well when you're using them. Alrighty, if you want to check it out, head over to the Hotone website and check out all of the details. It is available for purchase now, and if you're considering a digital modeling unit, check this one out. It's always been a favorite of mine, and I think you'll love it as well. Alrighty, I want you to hear the full track, which I did, so let's get going with that. Once again, huge thank you to Leon Todd for doing some amazing solos on this track. Such an honor and a pleasure to work with him. He's such an incredible musician. His band Ragdoll is absolutely amazing as well. I have all of their albums. Such a cool band. So go and check out his YouTube channel because it's one of the only guitar YouTube channels that I follow, and I think you will absolutely adore it. Alrighty, enjoy it. Have a great day. If you haven't done so already, please do hit the subscribe button and hit the bell notification so you know when new videos are going to be coming out. And please do give it a thumbs up as well. If you'd like to support the channel, then you can check out my Patreon or my t-shirt store, or you can get the Hotone Ampero II Stage preset pack, which I have just put up as well. Alrighty, enjoy the track. Have a great day. I'll see you soon. Bye. I'm going to quickly show you how the scenes work on this. The scenes function on the Ampero II Stage is absolutely fantastic. I have one of my own patches dialed up here. It's my J Plexi, which is based on my JP69 custom built Plexi basically. And first thing I'm going to do is change it to stomp mode. And this is going to bring me into the mode where I can choose the scenes via these 5 buttons here. And in fact, I've got 3 scenes dialed in via buttons number 1, 2 and 3. Button number 4 is actually assigned to the delay, so I can switch the delay on and off. And number 5 is tap tempo, so that I can change the tempo of the delay. If I'm playing live with a band and we're playing in a different tempo or a different song, then I can do that on the fly. So scene number 1 here is my full bean sound with a tube screamer in front of my Plexi, which is dialed up with as much gain as possible. When I go to scene number 2, it's much lower gain, so approaching a cleanish kind of sound. Now the switching between the 2 scenes is seamless, so if I keep playing in this scene, and then switch over, there's no delay at all because it's essentially the same patch, but you're accessing the patch with different settings, which is fantastic. I really love that about this unit. Scene number 3 here I have dialed up as a medium gain tone with the drive pedal turned off, the amp actually dimed, but the delay pedal turned off as well. So when I switch over, so different sound there, and I can switch between the scenes really quickly and easily. And it's seamless, no delays between it. Like I said, number 4 is assigned to my delay at the moment, so I have my delay turned off on scene number 3 at the moment. I can turn it on via this button here. So my delays are now working. Number 5 is my tap tempo, so if I needed to change the timing of the delay, then I can. At the moment, I have it set to 90 BPM, so I can basically just stomp on it, and we're going to do 238 BPM, as opposed to and 300 BPM. And have a multi-tap delay going on there, so you can probably hear the difference between that as well. So really useful functions with the scenes on it. Now you don't have to run your own effects into the loop of the unit. You can actually run them straight into the input of the unit. So if you have like a favorite overdrive pedal or something, then you can basically put it between your guitar and the input of the Ampero II Stage. In fact, let me show you that very quickly with one of my favorite pedals. All right, I have my Ampero II Stage set up on my desk here, and I've got my Bogner Ecstasy patch which I created for the track which I recorded, but I have turned off the drive pedal. I put a tube screamer in front of the amp when I set up the patch, but I've turned it off for the time being, and this is the tone that I get. I like it with a bit more gain, so if I turn on the drive pedal on the actual unit, I get much more sustain, but I can also use my own pedals. So I'm going to turn off that drive pedal, and I have a KHDK Ghoul Screamer Mini set up in front of the Ampero II. So it's going into the input. So I have my guitar plugged into the pedal, and then the pedal plugged into the input of the Ampero II. So let's see how it sounds. So this is the sound of the Ampero II Stage just by itself again. And with the pedal. That pedal really fattens up the tone. It gives me that extra sustain, that extra saturation. Love it. So the Ampero II Stage works really, really well with your own pedals as well. Creating patches on the Ampero II is really, really easy. It always has been, even with my Stomp, which is back here. On this, it's just as easy because the touch screen is so responsive. So I have an empty patch selected on my Ampero II Stage, and there are no amps, no effects, nothing, just a clean guitar going right through. So let's get into it. All right, I'm going to change over to Stomp mode first. And you can do it either via the switch or by pressing this button here on the touch screen, which says S, then it goes to patch mode there. And then you can select the type of setup that you want. And you can do parallels, you can do just a serial chain, you can select it all from this button here, and you can go AB to Y, Y to AB, serial, split mix, etc, etc. We're just going to go with a very simple serial at the moment, just to keep things simple. Alright, so first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to select an amplifier. So from here I'll go down to the amps, and you can see how responsive this is. It's just really quick to select everything. And one of the things I like about the menu system is that it's all done into sub-menus, so I can choose the type of amp that I want. If I want a clean amp, drive amp, high gain, bass, power amp as well. I'm going to go with the drive, and I'm going to go and find one of my favorite amps, which is the Marshall 50 Jump, or the Marshall 50 Jump. So we've got this at the moment. Woo! All right, that doesn't sound great right now. And that's because I have not put a cab after it. So I'm going to select a cab as well. So when I go down to the cabs, I can either select the cab that I want, which is one of the ones that are created by Hotone themselves, so UK Green, let's say. Or I can basically choose to go down to the IR section and choose an impulse response. So it does have Celestion impulse responses built into this. So I can go to the Green 412 right down here. I kind of like that. I have my user IRs in here as well, so I can go down to my own Greenback Cab IR, which is from my signature pack. Yeah, I like that. I'm going to keep that one. All right, so we've got an amp and cab in there now. All right, so the next thing I want is some delay and reverb. This is how I usually set up my sound, so I'll do it down here somewhere. So I'll select this block, and I'm going to find the delay block, which is right down here. I'll select that, and it comes up with the analog delay M, just as a default there. But I like tape echoes, so I'm going to go with tape echo S here. Yeah, that sounds nice. So I've got a basic sound here. I haven't even messed with the settings yet. So let's see what the settings in the delay are. Right down here, mix is about 20. I'm going to increase that just a little bit. And you can do that either via the encoder here or by just touching the screen and going up and down. It's really, really easy to do. So I'll put about 30%. Great, I like that. I'm going to keep everything else just as it is because I like the sound of that. Then I'll put a little bit of reverb on there. So I'll find the reverb and then I'll select the reverb that I want. So I'm going to go with the large plate. Yeah, I love that. Now the mix is quite a lot on this one, so I'm going to reduce the mix just a little bit. Brilliant. I've got a good sound there, good solid sound. So I'm going to tweak the amp a little bit. Let's put the volume 1 up a little bit, volume 2 up a little bit, get a little bit more gain. In fact, I'm going to drop this down a little bit and I'm going to use a boost pedal to actually drive it. And the other settings, just put the middle up a little bit. Great, that's sounding good. I'll leave it like that. I'll add in a drive pedal. So we'll find the drives. Okay, and it goes to the green drive straight off. Sounding good already. All right, so I'm going to leave the gain where it is. I'm going to increase the volume somewhat so that it pushes the front end of the amp and drop the tone just a little bit as well. Now I can hear that the actual preset is clipping a little bit, so I'm going to go over to the amp and just lower the output a little bit so that we're not clipping too much. That's great. Okay, I'm going to add in a noise gate right at the front here as well, because I'm going to gain this up in a second a little bit more. And when that happens, it can become quite noisy. So let's go to the noise gate here and just the AI gate, and I will leave it in just its stock form because it's doing a good job right now. I can go ahead and save this, and I'll just save the patch, and I'll just call it JP. That's it. Let's just call it JP. Alrighty. Now if I want to change the scenes, then I can do it via this button here. So what I'm going to do with this one is leave it as it is. In fact, I'm going to save 3 copies of this, and then I'm going to go back to the first one, do a low gain mode, and then the second one is going to be this one, which is going to be medium gain, and then the third one is actually going to be high gain. So let's do that. I'll just change some of the settings here. I'll make this a little bit gainier. And then number 3, I'm going to whack the volume up on the amp. Really give it some pep, give it a little bit more gain here as well. I'm just going to press save. Then what I need to do is go over to this button here on the screen and press that. And this is going to allow me to assign the foot switches to the different scenes and my effects as well. So I'm going to go over to this patch over here, which says number 1. And it says off at the moment. Everything says off. And you can actually assign these 2 buttons as well, 6 and 7, which are the bank buttons, to the scenes as well. So if you want to control more parameters of your effects, then you can do that as well. So I'll click and hold that first one. And then what I'm going to do is just select scene number 1. And for foot switch number 2, I'm going to go to C number 2. Foot switch number 3, I'll do C number 3. And when I get to foot switch 4, I'd like to turn on and off my drive pedal. So I'm going to click my drive pedal and I'm going to double click it. So you need to touch it twice in order to activate it onto the switch itself. And switch number 5, I'm going to do the same thing but with the delay. So I'll touch the delay and then it just selects it. And I've got that assigned to the delay now. All right, I'll come out this and I'll save this. And now I can switch between all of my effects and the scenes as well. So if I come out of this, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to change the parameters here. So on C number 1, I'm going to turn off my drive pedal. Let's get a low gain tone here. I like that a little bit brighter as well. So let's turn the treble up and the presence up as well. I like that. Save that. Right, now when I go to C number 2, it will be my drive sound. It will be a little bit more high gain. And if I go into the amp settings, you'll see that the amp settings have actually been retained as per how I saved them in the first patch. So now I can actually change these as well. So I'm going to change the amp settings a little bit. Let's have a little bit more gain on the front end here. Then I'll save that. I have the option of turning on and off my effects as well. So if I need to add in my drive pedal, or turning off my delay, I can do that now as well and just have that nice reverb going on. All right, patch number 3. Now on this one, the delay is turned off at the moment, so I'm going to turn it on. So there you go. That's how Scenes works. That's how you can create a patch really, really quickly. You can see how intuitive it is. It's a pretty cool unit.